Hello everyone, welcome to day 4 of the holiday card series for 2025. This is Christina and I'm going to be creating 10 duplicate cards today using 4 products from the Greetery. These are all in stock as of when this video is going up, so I wanted to make sure that I shared it right away because their products are so beautiful. They go out of stock very quickly. I'm using the lovely Linocuts Nativity suite of products plus the Simple Holiday Sentiments stamp set. I'll have everything linked down below in the supplies. For my card base, I'm using Speckled Eggshell from Fawn. I think they still sell this. I will link it down below. I'm starting out with the large cling stamp. Now, you'll notice that on this cling stamp, it does not have anything inside the manger, and that's because this is meant to be paired with the clear stamp set that has individual elements from the scene. So I've created 10 card bases using that Fawn cardstock. It's a nice ivory color. You can kind of see the color difference in comparison to the white grid in my MISTI. It's a very, it's not too ivory, too creamy. It's just a really nice warm white, almost ivory, but not quite. I'm going to be stamping all 10 of these folded card bases right on the front of the cards using 5 different colors of Concord and 9th ink. So I'm going to be stamping each color twice. This first color that I'm using is Lakefront, and it's this nice kind of toned teal shade, really, really pretty. And because this is such a solid stamp image, I am going to be stamping each one of these twice without moving the cardstock or the folded card in my MISTI. So this is the second stamping for Lakefront. And then I'm actually going to swap out each one of these card fronts and just keep stamping in the different ink colors. So I'm doing 10 of these cards today because I've mentioned it in previous videos for this holiday card series. I am very behind on my cards this year for Christmas. I determined that I needed to make essentially 70 cards in about 3 weeks. So every time I'm making a card for the holiday card series where it makes sense to do duplicates, that's exactly what I'm doing. This second color I'm using is Avocado. And like I said before, I am stamping each one of these twice to make sure I have a really solid image. So I'm now going to go on to my third color, which I'm using Midnight. This is a very, very dark navy, almost black once it's stamped at its darkest. And it looks really, really beautiful next to this Speckled Eggshell cardstock from Fawn. My fourth color is Nutmeg. I thought a nice brown would be beautiful. And I'm stamping this once again twice so that I have a really solid image. Another thing I wanted to mention is initially this card was inspired by a card example on the Greetery's website. It kind of veered off and it changed just a little bit, but with such a large image like this, there isn't a ton different design-wise that you can do. It's mostly just in what supplies you use. This last color is Cranberry. And now all of the initial different colors of stamping is complete. So I have 10 cards with all of these different colors of ink from Concord and 9th. And now I'm going to stamp the greeting on the front of each card. So now I'm using the Simple Holiday Sentiments stamp set. And I thought the Merry Christmas would be really nice at the very bottom of the card, centered. And I'm going to be doing some gold heat embossing with this greeting. So I'm centering up that greeting. I'm going to be stamping it in the same spot on all 10 cards. And I'm stamping in white pigment ink. So you could use pigment ink or embossing ink or anything like a Versamark, something that stays really sticky. And then you apply your heat embossing powder on top. So the embossing powder I'm going to be using today is my favorite gold. It is Gilded embossing powder from Brutus Monroe. And once I tap that off, then I will heat set that with my heat tool. And the front of the card will be basically done. I'm just going to be working on some elements from the scene that I'm going to pop up off the surface of the front of the card. So I went ahead and I stamped and heat embossed that greeting on all 10 card bases. So now I'm going to break out that other stamp set that has all the individual elements, including some greetings that you could put inside the manger if you want. I decided to do the cradle. It kind of has some little rays coming out of it, kind of like a stylized kind of nod to baby Jesus. So I decided to stamp all of these in gold pigment ink from Lisa Horton. Now I'm going to be doing heat embossing for all of these elements. Now initially I was just going to use the same colors of ink that are on the card base itself and then just have these elements popped up. But then I decided it would be really pretty to have a gold embossed image. And I think if I would have had this card design in mind before deciding to do 10 cards, I might have decided not to do 10 cards because this is a lot of heat embossing, and it really did slow down the process of creating all 10 cards. I think in total, I spent about 4 hours on all of these cards, and I do really enjoy them as they appear finished, but I think I probably would not have created 10 of this card design in particular, just because this was a lot of heat embossing and a lot of die cutting. And I kind of feel like when you're picking out a card design that you're going to make duplicates of, if you want to have something that's a little bit more tedious, takes a little bit more time and effort, pick one thing, not 2 or 3 things that are very time intensive. So in this case, I probably would have skipped all of the die cutting, maybe did just like a rainbow stamping of that, the large background, or maybe skipped all of the pop-ups, maybe only do the manger or add a greeting in there, something like minimize how many die cuts I prepped. I probably would have just changed it up a little bit. That being said, I do really love how this card turned out. After I die cut every single image that I heat embossed, I then put foam adhesive on the back of every single image. I'm doing this in assembly line style. I'm doing all the steps at the same time. So I put that foam adhesive. I used narrow strip adhesive and also small little mini squares. Both of those are from scrapbook.com. I'll link those down below. If they have a sale going on their adhesives, that is the time to stock up on all of your foam adhesive. After I had all of those pieces prepped with dimensional adhesive, I then adhered everything onto each one of these 10 cards. And you can sort of see the design coming together. At this point, after I had finished just one, I thought, you know what, this will look really pretty with a thin gold frame. So I already had one cut. So I kind of just put that on to see how it would look, decided I liked it, and then continued on adhering all of the different die cut pieces onto the card designs themselves. So I finished off with this red one. And then, just because I needed to make my process more complicated, I had to cut all of those frames. So I cut all of the gold frames and I saved the interior of the squares so that I could use that for future projects. And then I adhered all of the gold frames to each card. I did that by doing a thin line of glue around the outer edge of the card and then very carefully placing each frame onto the card itself and using my fingers to kind of manipulate that frame and pull it to each corner and edge. Once those were on, I kind of pressed it down with my fingers, really sealed that frame on there. And then now I have 10 cards. Like I said, this took about 4 hours, maybe 3.5 to 4 hours to complete all 10 cards. But I do really love how they turned out, and the design packs a punch. It's just beautiful. All of these products from the Greetery, their releases this year in October and November were just stellar, just beautiful. I bought the entire November release, some of October, and I've even gone back and I found some products from their previous holiday releases that I just could not resist putting in my cart. So I hope you'll check those out. Thanks so much for joining me today for day 4 of the holiday card series. And I will be back on Monday for day 5. We're going to be creating day 5 live at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. I hope you'll come back and join me.